How would it sound that in order to live that soft and feminine life, you would not need to implement those crazy, big, dramatic shifts and changes, but instead implement micro habits? If that sounds something you're interested in, you should definitely keep on listening or watching. Hi and welcome. I'm Catherine Louise. I'm a business and mindset mentor, and I help women become their best selves. So if that is something you're interested in, you should definitely hit that subscribe or follow button to not miss out on any future episode so you can too become your best self. By the way, before we're getting started, I do in fact have a Mindset Mentor pro tip for you at the end, which will make all of those micro habits work even more beautifully and for you to experience results even faster. So make sure to stay tuned. I know that we're all almost trained to struggle and work hard, and we're so raised to be used to stress. However, how would it sound to be able to live that soft and feminine life and just for once make it easy on yourself and at the same time still experiencing those results and shifts that you have been wanting to? What I'm basically saying is that we're going to put in that minimal effort and yet yield those big results. And how that works, I'm going to share with you right now. I have 10 micro habits for you that I, if I may say so, have been implementing them all myself in my own lives and also into my clients' ones. And when I'm telling you that I would have never, seriously, never thought in my life that just tiny micro habits, like really no effort, tiny micro habits can change and transform your life in a way that I would have never, seriously, never in my life have anticipated. And as I just mentioned, not just my life, but also the lives of my clients. It's like, what? You do not have to struggle or really fight in order to really live a comfortable life. This is why I'm going to share with you my 10 most favorite micro habits that in fact have yielded the greatest results. Okay, so my first most favorite micro habit ever that has changed so much in my life, because I've always wanted to go to the gym, and you might have heard me talk about this before, how important it is for me to go to the gym. Not necessarily for the physical part, even though I truly obviously appreciate that. But going to the gym for me is almost like therapy. I really need this movement in my body and how it's just giving my day really structure. But it has always been waking up at 6 a.m., getting my kids ready, getting them all out of the house on their school run in time has already been so much on me. And mind you, I have 3 kids. So that alone has been a lot. And actually, to be quite honest, I've just been too tired to then think about, getting my gym stuff out, getting the water bottle, not forgetting about a thing. And the one thing that has changed it all, it sounds dramatic, and it is the one micro habit, and it seriously is just a micro habit that has changed that whole thing around for me. So I'm now actually going to the gym every other morning after my school run. And that's only because of this one micro habit. So it sounds so simple, almost stupid, but to be quite honest and fair, actually all of the micro habits sound so simple and almost stupid, duh, obviously, right? But this is that micro habit has changed it all for me. So my micro habit in order to get to the gym is actually just seriously getting my gym clothes ready the night before, getting my gym bag, just putting it in front of the door, making sure my keys are already in there, my wallet, my water bottle, everything. That literally takes me 5 minutes, and it has changed just everything. Micro habit number 2 is another one which is so simple, which is just putting my journal right next to my bed on my bedstand. And that actually has made it possible for me to journal in the morning and at night. And since this whole series about becoming her, glowing up in your 40s, I have already mentioned how important it was for me to really journal in the morning and at night just to get even more clear on my goals and where I'm at on that journey, to really reflect and just really be aware about my day and my gratitude. So I want to say that micro habit number 2, just really having my journal on my bedstand, has changed a lot. Micro habit number 3, and I've been showing you my baby before. I don't have it here right now, but it is definitely my Stanley. I know this Stanley thing has been hyped all over the place, and actually people approach me for it in the gym already. But I do want to say this Stanley Cup has been such a game changer, because for 41 years, I'm 41 now, I have just never been able to drink enough water, no matter what bottle I got for myself, no matter how much of a great effort I try to put into it. So I really truly appreciate this Stanley Cup, and just for the fact that so much water fits in it. It is so easy to clean. I can literally carry it around with me all day and then just fill it up again one more time. That seriously is one of probably the most impactful micro habits I have been implementing recently. Micro habit number 4 is a no phone zone. And when I'm telling you that I have 2 phones, one for my private life and then the other one for my clients, because I do offer phone support as well, that is truly really important to me. But in order to have those boundaries and not be checking up on them and their messages again at night, when I really have to, make sure I can settle down myself too. I need to, revive my energy and stuff. Talking about boundaries, because my clients better want me to be in the best of my energy all the time. But still, I have 3 kids. When they're out and about, or they're with friends, and then friends and family, you need to have some peace of mind for yourself. And then when that mobile just keeps ringing and beeping and all the things, you just get constantly interrupted, specifically with social media and all of them things. So it really is so important to really have a no phone zone. And also, and I want to say this micro habit is extremely impactful. It's just going to take you a couple of seconds. Switch off those notifications of your apps. You don't need no notifications of Instagram or YouTube or whatever. It's enough when you see the notifications when you open the app anyways. So make sure it's not interrupting every second thought of your day. Another micro habit that you can extend or have it in a minor way, whatever works best for you, really is all about routines. Really figuring out what kind of routines work best for you and your life, and then really leave whatever doesn't work for you. But having routines that you, and especially when you have family and a work life and just a life in general, is so important to just get it going, be motivated. And also, routines do create a huge amount of safety and structure throughout your day. So what I'm saying is, for instance, for my family, for my household, we do have very certain morning routines in place, and then I have another routine for myself in place when the kids are all at school and everything. And I also do have routines for the weekend when it's about to do the laundry or we're going on trips. You know what I mean? The more people are involved into your life, aka the kids and the husband and everything, the more it is important to have those routines, so everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, and school run's not going to take you 5 hours. That in fact will reduce your stress and chaos on such an enormous level, it's mind-blowing. The next micro habit, and I think we have all heard it at some stage, because honestly, even though I've always been knowing that somehow, it is so important to constantly remind yourself on that, which is prepare your food before you're hungry. To me, that would have to be specifically around noontime, because I do not like breakfast. I never did. Like back in the days when they said, oh, you need to have 3 meals a day. Everybody was like, nah, you need to eat breakfast. I'm like, no, I don't like that. Today it's called intermittent fasting. So I have basically been intermittent fasting my whole entire life, way before everybody else knew it. So I'm just honestly trying to listen to my body. And I unfortunately must say, like within the past 2 years, my hunger and like what my body can, how do I want to say that? Like I cannot eat the same amount of food I was able to 10 years ago. I'm very sad about this. And also like in terms of what I can actually eat and digest at noontime, because my body works best at night. Don't ask me. I've been at 3 different kind of doctors checking up all of the things just to make sure, everything is actually just working right. But yeah, they said, hormones getting older, that can actually happen. So I need to make sure I prep the food for when I'm hungry for the first time of the day. And I actually also recommend that for you, because I do know if I skip that, because I really have to do this and that kind of work, and then I have another client call. And if I then miss prepping my shake, to me, this would preferably be a certain kind of shake for noontime, I'm a mess. And then I'm just basically going to eat it all. And my body is so going to suffer. So what I'm saying is make sure when you are trying to nourish your body to prep that and not skip out on yourself, basically. Okay, so if you know me, I'm a huge fan, not just of journaling, but really creating to-do list and everything. And I actually just write it all down, by hand. Never really do that on my mobile or iPad, just because I'm old school like that. And there is seriously something about putting the magic onto a piece of paper. And I just recently learned it's called creating a second brain. So this micro habit is so important, because as we're running, through the day, and we have a life and we have work and so much going on, you might be familiar with that feeling when your brain is about to explode because you have so much stuff that you need to remember, the deadlines and the kids' parties and just basically all of that. It so easily gets overwhelming. So my next really important and crucial micro habit will have to be create that second brain and have a running to-do list, because otherwise you're going to waste so much time and energy just trying to remember it all. And then you most probably are going to forget some of it. So really create that second brain and release it all. And believe me, you're going to be a whole different kind of human. My next micro habit I've been doing now for years, specifically having kids and working and just living a somewhat insane life. But also, if you're just really having a busy career, this comes in so handy and is so crucial. Plan your week ahead. So I do have clients, they love planning their week ahead on Friday night. I typically do that on Monday mornings. And what I do then, I take my schedule, take the schedule from the kids, really check all of the appointments, all of my calls, and then work around that. And I love doing that on Monday mornings because it feels like I really have that time and sanity and actually schedule that time to map out my week. And then also make sure I don't book my calls and appointments too tight, to always make sure I have a bit of a room for flexibility, because other than that, that would just stress me out. And then what I also found is so important, when you schedule your week, you want to make sure you take a look at the goals you've been setting for yourself for maybe the entire year or maybe this month. And always make sure to come back to that, to really schedule your week according to your plans, according to your priorities, according to your goals, because that in fact makes a huge difference in the long run. So this next macro habit, it's been coming a long way for me, believe me, because the one thing I have learned having 3 kids is you really want to be organized. And I'm not saying organized as in OCD, but I'm saying organized as in everything has got its own home. Everything belongs somewhere, because let's be honest, life can be stressful and things laying around and having a chaotic home going to inevitably create even more chaos, not just in your space, but really in your mind and your energy. Because when you are not feeling really comfortable and, chaos does something to our system, you just won't be like in that energy you actually want to be in, to be quite frank. So what I learned, and I learned that the hard way, my dear, I really learned to make sure I can organize everything the way that works best and most easy. And this is the key. Most easy for me to, moving through my day. And if that means like having different organizing systems, cleaning up stuff, how I put the things away. Do I like boxes or do I like, whatever, just really figuring out what works best for you. Or let's just say a vacuum cleaner. I'm not going to mess with a vacuum cleaner that still has a cord, because it's wasting my time and my time is really precious here. Same goes for my work. I really have to make sure that I have tools that actually work so well for me, that I'm working with apps and scheduling systems and just all of the things that make my life easier, that keeps me organized, and that also will create such a huge amount of like mess-free mind space. Is that even a saying? I'm not sure. But really like making sure you can work in your best energy and won't have to deal with all of the mess that's not even worth it, period. So the next micro habit, which to me is really not micro. It may sound micro to you, but to me it has been really a life-changing thing. And I'm not like being over exaggerating or whatever. It's just really been changing my life, which is slow down. So I have always been in such a hurry, in such a stress to get things done. And, that definitely has always like been my thing, to really rush things so I can get everything done and then some more. Having little babies, running a company, it certainly didn't help because I somewhat always only had the time when they were napping, and that kind of creates some kind of rush too. But really taking the time to slow things down. And funnily enough, I learned that in the gym lifting weights, because my dear, you don't want to rush any kind of movements when you have like, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds on your hand. That could cause some serious injuries. So you really have to be very aware of your movements and how you do the things. And that has actually had like a ripple effect through all of my life. Like my whole system has been slowing down, and you have no idea how much I have been appreciating this. So that must be like, I don't want to say most impactful. Like, it's hard to say most impactful micro habits, because all of those 10 macro habits have been having like a crazy amount of impact into my life. But I want to say for me, that has been one of the most meaningful, probably. So if you made it this far and you're still here watching, hi, thank you. I'm so grateful to have you. And because of that, I really want to give you my Mindset Mentor Pro tip that I've been sharing with my clients. And I really want to share it with you too, because when you are now like, okay, I really want to have those micro habits, I want to help you a little bit to make them even more transformative and actually more supportive for you to becoming that version of yourself you're striving for, your glow up, maybe in your 30s, 40s, 20s, whatever. So my number one tip when you're creating your micro habits and really going through it and being like, okay, so how can I implement those micro habits into my life is try to visualize your best self. Try to visualize your future self, that version you really want to be, that you want to transform into. And then really close your eyes and visualize what is she doing? How is she doing? What kind of micro habits does she have? And then really creating your micro habits out of this identity, because what happens if you actually adapt the micro habits of your future self, of your best version, you automatically, day by day, more become that identity. It's like you're automatically morphing into this identity. Also, another thing that I have found to be so impactful is that no matter what you do when you're creating those micro habits, really make sure you double check with your priorities. So I've been talking about how I do set priorities according to my goals for a certain time frame. Maybe it is 2 months, maybe 3, maybe it's a whole year. And then really double check my micro habits if they're actually in according to it, and if they're actually moving me towards my goal, if they're actually in favor of my priorities. And that itself is the most transformative thing ever. Because let's be honest, just implementing a couple of new micro habits because they're sounding cute, right? They're not going to take you nowhere. You might like them. You might have a couple of like accomplishments with them. But when you have a goal, when you have priorities, you actually want to make sure you're operating in favor of them. You know what I mean? Please let me know in the comments down below which one of those micro habits has actually been your favorite. I would totally love to know. And I will see you next time for the third episode of our Glowing Up in Our 40s series, Becoming Her Part 3. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See you next time. Bye.